Now, OpTic, 10 seconds. They're going to have to choose quickly here for that final pick. Give us information on Slaughter. And Beastmaster. Lycan's made it all the way through, but that would really throw things off on the draft, so. Yeah.
Choose your
Oh, buddy.
Called it.
You're the best.
Wise here.
I think you have to, once you see the PL,
Ooh.
I don't think that Lesh was going to be taken. And then you see
PL,
the PL
yeah.
and you have to adjust. Because there's no way any of your other 4 heroes deal with it. Like, you would lose this game by like a timer situation.
And there's no other mid laner that really does the same thing.
Yeah.
We saw the Hagenim's build SF like 6 months ago, trying to beat PLs, but very few mid laners or off laners left that would have really given you any.
Would agree.
So, CCNC on Leshrac. Zai will play the Venomancer.
Does that recover their lineup entirely, though?
It helps it a lot more than it used to. Like, before I felt like it was odd. I mean, I think that Lesh pick kind of just fits. It's pretty decent against all these heroes. Yule's builder too for the Kunkka.
I like the fact that they're putting Core Earthshaker here because initiation's so important. That hard jump onto all 3 of these cores in Lesh, Veno, and Bloodseeker.
Is that a Zai Slaughter?
That is now a Zai Slaughter.
They swapped? Okay.
Yeah, they swapped.
Okay, so Zai needs a really good game for this game to go well. Like, he needs a Blink Dagger like pre-21 minutes.
Yeah, and that's why I'm such a big fan of this Earthshaker being core.
Yeah.
Because he's just gonna have a much faster timing.
Whoever gets the jumps in this, like, they can get the jump on the PL early, and they can actually deal with it.
Might be a little bit tough for Zai early on. Like, you can get a lot of interference, heals, like defensive power for complexity, Slaughter. I mean, you land a crush on someone like a PL, it just doppelgangs away. You just run away. That seems super easy.
All right, thanks Captain Blitz for joining us again during the panel. They're going to be heading off. They're supposed to be casting some South America region. That's why they're dipping out here as the game starts. But myself and Mike Loris will be your casters once again. compLexity versus OpTic Gaming. And Mike Loris, I feel for OpTic Gaming. It wouldn't be the most surprising result if they happen to find a loss here against compLexity by any means. But it's just that's the brutal schedule that is these regional qualifiers, right? It's tough competition. Mm-hmm. That would be something to see them start 0-2, but no, definitely a lineup where they can win for sure.
Yeah, especially like I don't know if you guys talked about this earlier in the first game. Like OpTic haven't had really any games since the Super Major, I think. So since then, there's been a lot of patch changes and metagame shifts. So maybe they're just struggling a little bit to kind of catch up to everyone else. Like compLexity played through the opens, so they had a lot more kind of like brute force practice there. I don't know how much of an issue that would be for OpTic. I mean, they're all vets, but it might be a possible explanation if they do stumble.
Good point, actually. Windranger, middle lane. Looking for that courier snipe. We'll see if that comes through for Z-Freak. I love seeing Z-Freak play on these playmaking style heroes. Of course, Windranger naturally one that can also develop into a bit of a core later on. That courier's coming, so we'll see. Is CCNC going to keep it just going right down mid? Will he pick up on this? I think it's a courier snipe.
Z-Freak's got it in the bag, unless he doesn't go for it.
On the way back, I'm sure he will.
You gotta lure him into a false sense of security with your courier. It's like, hey, it was fine going out. Here's your salve.
Now, Windranger hasn't shown yet, though, so there is an argument to be made that, yeah, he's going to get it here, where, you know, don't just send it directly back. We see many players do that, where it's like, okay, where's the Windranger? Oh, you know what? He might be courier sniping. It's easier for us to stay as spectators, though, but yeah, slight misplay maybe, but overall, great play by Z-Freak.
He did get a little bit too close to the tower there, so he's got to burn through quite a bit of his regen. He did start with 7 tangos, so it's not the end of the world for him, but now goes down towards the bottom lane where we have an Earthshaker Windranger dual lane. I can't imagine Pycat's going to be super worried about this, especially since he does have the PPG support, but offensively, it seems like this is not really something that compLexity can really work with to a huge degree, at least until higher levels come up.
Yeah, really interesting to see not only Earthshaker being picked in general, but being ran as the core. I know Capitalist was talking about that, and he did like it in the draft at least. But then the questions are, you know, how successful is this going to be? Will he still go into that earlier on Blink Dagger? Maybe does he go the Shadow Blade route this game? It wouldn't be the worst option, perhaps both, of course, together. But I still think the Blink Dagger priority is going to be a thing here for the Earthshaker.
Yeah, you can throw out those fissures. As long as he's getting experience, he should be happy, but you really do need that blink in this game. Up towards top lane, OpTic have pretty good hold on this lane as well. I mean, they're not going to be crushing this Phantom Lancer or anything like that, but between this Venomancer and Slaughter, like, if you get close, you're taking a lot of damage, especially if you're this Warlock. So, who is this? It's Moo on the Phantom Lancer, not Moon Meander.
Yeah.
I mean, he can rush down 33 right now simply because the support Zai is off lane, but yeah, outside of that, like, yeah, I'm not really sure if OpTic are super worried about really any of their lanes.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing this complexity, not only in the new roster announcement, but who is going to play what. As you're pointing out there, Moo is playing in position 1 now, taking over for Chessie. Moon Meander joining the squad. He's their new offlaner, and of course Adam replacing Kyle, essentially, as both the in-game captain as well as a support bottom lane.
They got PPD walled off with the power shot. 1 point Voodoo has 6 stick charges as well. Z-Freak, power shot against stick charges shouldn't be enough. He'll still chase him down a couple more times, but it's not, again, just short. Adam towards top lane, however, with the Gale is going to get denied. First kill, gets to kill your ally, feels good, man. Now the crush goes on to Moose. Still trying to gun for 33 here, but those illusions of Phantom Lance early on, really not a threat, so not much of anything significant until bottom lane, where the cast bounces back towards the Earthshaker. That's some PBD RNG right there, as Moon Meander is going to be your first blood. And top lane again, they're going to go in for the Phantom Lancer. They do know which one's real, but can't quite catch up to him after the doppelgang.
All right, I'm jumping back and forth between the lanes. Sorry about that, guys. Going back. But yeah, the kill on the bottom lane of the Earthshaker sounds like got the lucky cast bounce to eventually successfully make it happen. So OpTic, their first attempt at the first blood was denied. This time around, not so much. Going back to Witch Doctor, we saw him survive there. The biggest reason was because he went that 1 point value into Voodoo Restoration. We are seeing a lot more Witch Doctors do this, and just supports in general that are picked up. You know, Warlock, for example, one of the more powerful reasons why he's picked up on top of just his overall skill set is that the Shadow Word for the laning phase to not only keep himself, but his carry in the lane good to go throughout. So I like to see that, of course, coming out from Witch Doctor. This isn't a lane that's going to be looking to get kills with a Maledict anyways, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it was that cooldown increase. Like, the one Maledict takes forever to come back online. It's such a pain, so just get the Voodoo Restoration, be happy with that. They're once again chipping that Moo up towards top lane, and you do have that Shadow Word, you do have that Doppelgang, but still, this is time when a Phantom Lancer is not happily hitting creeps. If ever you can do that, you're going to go ahead and do so. Moon on the bottom lane, now racing up against Pycat. He does eat the Fairy Fire, charging forward, gets the heal also. Gets shackled, but there's no follow-up because just a support Wind Ranger. So second death for this Earthshaker on bottom. EXP-wise, only level 3, 12 CS. This is, I mean, we've seen Earthshaker come back from worse for sure, but this is not the start you want off of a safe lane ES.
Exactly. Well, that's the scary thing, is that sure he can recover, but you're giving it up to Bloodseeker. And Pycat, of course, in the last game, didn't necessarily maybe have the strongest performance. I think a lot of that was the lineup as it proved to play out. But this game, he definitely has potential to be scary. I'm sure we're still going to see the Radiance direction. Again, naturally just great against a hero like Phantom Lancer would make a lot of sense. But the question is, does he still go for that early Blade Mail? And I feel like Pycat, Bloodseeker, that's just kind of his natural build as of late. Zai, meanwhile, he's fine.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Might prioritize a little bit of an earlier BKB as well. There's so many team fight abilities from complexity. Granted, some of them do kind of injure you through that BKB, but Magic Community in this game definitely high value. CCNZ over in mid is going to be chased out by Limp, who he is winning in the lane, but not to a degree where he's completely locking out the Leshrac, so they should both be okay. As Zai's going to find Adam once more in the river. Zai does have the 1 value point in Bash and gets a lucky roll, but up against the Shadow Word, yeah, you can't really challenge that. It has sticks, will survive. But yeah, Slaughter flexing his muscle a little bit. As over mid, yeah, the boat combo on CCNC drops him down very low, shackled to the catapult. Z-Freak comes in to secure the kill.
Great, that was one of those, you would love to be in the voice call, whatever they're using, bottom lane.
Moon again. I feel like this shouldn't be happening this often, but land a couple of cast bounces, get Pycat some movement speed from the injured nature of Moo up towards top, and it's hard to run away from 500 movement speed.
So going back to the point, though, clearly great communication on the side of complexity with the immediate TP from Wind Ranger as Kunkka was going for the combo, but then great play from OpTic bottom lane. They saw Wind Ranger TP middle, they take advantage, they kill Moon Meander, and they're going for another kill. He's fine here now.
Can't do it that many times, right? Surely it won't happen. But at the same time, they're going for the other meander on top lane. They throw the Gale towards Adam. Is there another crush from Zai or Bash? He's not even trying to right-click for Bashes. He's just standing there. 33 is dying, by the way, to the Fatal Bonds. And by dying, is he dead? 11 HP. Is there anything else that's linked up?
He's
No.
fine.
Calculated.
That was very close right there. So obviously, as we're kicking off here with OpTic versus compLexity overall the NA region, real quick shout outs to the other regions currently going on. Game number 3 of SG versus Pain is happening over on the BTS2 stream with Grant and Brax. On BTS3, you got Leviathan versus Just a Squad with Robin Rollcasting. BTS4, Kingwin versus Singularity with Draskell and Lyrical. And then on BTS5, OG versus Alliance with Killer Pigeon and Lizard. There is so much casting, 5 different channels of non-stop Dota 2 regional coverage coming at you, so definitely check out any of that. But we're happy to see you here, of course. Any region, this is a good one, in my opinion.
I mean, get that multi-twitch up, watch them all, with all of the audio on all of them.
That,
It's the optimum Dota experience right there.
God.
All right, so the real bad thing for compLexity on this bottom lane is the fact that Pycat is almost level 6. So that means that once he gets that, like, Moon by himself is just completely boned, and that means PPD can kind of just wander around and maybe help them kill off top lane, maybe, if they needed help, as Moo is going to go down.
Yeah, that Poison Sting is doing a lot of work from the Venomancer. I've seen it several times. That Moo constantly low on life, and this time, you know, finally suffering his death despite Doppelganger. It's just not enough to keep him alive for the getaway. Zai's hunting Adam meanwhile, but it's going to allow for a tower push, at least some tower pressure from 3-3 at the top lane. Instead, they're bringing back with, of course, finish. Limp, middle lane? No, he's just farming. Torrent there.
Zai is bloodthirsty right now, like, going all the way back into the trees. They're throwing Plague Wards back there as well, just keep an eye on where the Warlock is. Zai has 2 points in the sprint. They'll just charge right out of there. So, I mean, with that amount of movement speed up against a Warlock with no control, a Phantom Lancer with barely any control, like, there's not much that's actually scaring him unless they have a Z-Freak rotation, and he was on the bottom lane.
Yeah, you mentioned 2 points in the sprint. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes for level 4 sprint right away. Ever since that change happened to where you just run so much faster in the water itself, roaming from lane to lane, the whole debate will start to be brought up. Okay, do you maybe max that out first? And Zai potentially will go that direction. I just think for the mobility to go from lane to lane, it's a powerful tool to have. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zai does go for that here. Middle lane, though, they're going to wrap around, try for a kill.
Limp does have raindrops, 1 bottle charge if the split earth lands, so he's going to get the rum out, so maybe that's going to protect him. DCNC does get dragged back into the boat, and the cask still bouncing Z-Freak, once again TPing in to give Limp a little bit of cover. Just a little bit short on damage up against that boat. If Limp wasn't able to get that one out, probably does go down there.
Yeah, they needed that initial stun before the ghost ship came out. It wasn't able to hit. Good job by Limp, seeing that it was coming and made the reaction in time. So Blade Mill will be the item of choice on Bloodseeker, by the way. Again, this is just like the natural Pycat build. Rupture.
Yeah, now Moon is bleeding. Torrent is going to be dodged. They are going to back off up against that third hero and save their Earthshaker, but I mean, this is what's great about Bloodseeker is that you can force these rotations every, 60 seconds? Yeah, every minute. You pop a Rupture on someone and you either get the kill, force a TP, or force a rotation, and you don't get the kill, I mean, who cares? Just go back to farming.
That's actually an interesting point, too, with the Bloodseeker, how we saw a lot of the Lincolns coming out last game, both naturally heroes like the Queen of Pain, even the Wind Ranger, who just naturally would pick it up. I'm sure there is a Wind Ranger this time around, but neither Kunkka or Phantom Lancer are necessarily these cores that are looking to pick up a Lincoln Sphere, and I wonder if they're probably not going to, is my ultimate point, and so that's why the Rupture potentially could be that much stronger this time around.
They'll have to resort to just grouping up as a 5-man, keeping himself safe that way. Unlike CCNC, who kind of goes in by himself with a haste rune and just gets annihilated, and 33 takes a little bit of damage on the retreat as well. Had a haste rune, but X marks the spot, doesn't care about your haste rune.
That was one of those, I have a haste rune, I'm unkillable mentalities that we see so often, but guess what? You're not, especially against X marks the spot from the Kunkka. And credit to Limp, though. He's doing a hell of a job with his reactions, and he's making it look easy, but as soon as he sees them coming in, I mean, he's putting the X down, the ship comes out, and yet another, in this case, a turn kill even, onto the mid hero, that's Leshrac.
Both Limp and Z-Freak, they're moving, man. They're all over the place. You don't really know where they're going to show up, and with shackle shots or a boat or a torrent, like, all these tools just completely halt a gank, and you can see it's kind of working. It's getting Moo a little bit of time to recover. Definitely not the greatest start from the Phantom Lancer a little bit beforehand, but now third place in the net worth is doing just fine. And if you're able to buy this kind of space from your Phantom Lancer just with 1 or 2 heroes, kind of doing what they would ordinarily do anyway, that's a pretty nice win. Moon is going to be forced to TP out of this bottom lane as 33 and, well, actually 4 heroes from OpTic converge on bottom. But again, this is space that Phantom Lancer is going to be more than happy to abuse.
Yeah, and I like the decision here from Moo on Phantom Lancer to go for the casual Hooded Defiance build. This is a lineup that you would definitely like to see it against a Leshrac, Venom Core. Meanwhile, Witch Doctor's caught. He's probably dead.
Power shot already used. There's a Fissure coming in, but that's not going to do much damage. Z-Freak taking the Pulse Nova, taking the Edict from CCNC, and will get ground down as Highcat and Zai come in from the river, kill off Limp.
Is under attack.
1 point Buddha Restoration?
Yeah,
Super value.
That value goes back to it. When you do not have enough burst damage to take out the Witch Doctor lowly support, you got to be feeling bad, man, if you're complexity. Adam, he's also going to be spotted top lane by Zai. I don't think he's going to get the backup, though. And Zai will probably want to run away himself as Windranger TP's in. Shackle Shot could do him in.
Shackle in the Bloodright, which isn't going to give him much cover. Pycat is going to wander right by. Zai kind of got taunted by his own bash. I'm like 100% sure if he didn't bash there, he would just left. Sometimes it happens like that. But hey, you lose your Slardar. It's not really the end of the world there from OpTic because, I mean, look at bottom lane. It's completely destroyed, pushed all the way down to the tier 2. Someone's got to deal with this. And Moon, he absolutely needs to get this gold. It's 13 minutes now for a Core Shaker. Now's about the time when you want to be, maybe picking up your Blink Dagger immediately, if not in another 100, 200 gold, but still, he's quite a ways away.
Yeah, I would like to see Moo go probably right into the Diffusal Blade after this, get that tankier item in the Hooded Defiance. Like I said, it makes a lot of sense this game, a great item choice, but it starts needing to start to put out some decent damage with the Diffusal Blade, so we'll see if that's the direction he goes for. But I'm finding this item on Venomancer a little bit intriguing. Going the Urn build, I know this isn't your safe lane mid Venomancer by any means, but more the off lane instead of being played by 3-3. But gonna go the Urn, and looks like it has a Veil queued up, which I do like, and maybe even like a Blink Dagger, Ags would be no ultimate kind of finish. But yeah, the early Urn, I suppose it's always good to have one on the team if you can put value into it.
I mean, yeah, you're looking to team up with your Bloodseeker, or at least use your Bloodseeker to kind of wander around the map. We can see Zai doing pretty much exactly that the entire game, so get a little bit more reward. And Venomancer, I mean, early on, any item is good on Venomancer, but there isn't really like, you absolutely must get this type of item. Chaotic Awkward is going to drop on top lane, kind of give Moo a little bit of space. With the boat coming in as well, they'll take down Pycat. Zai Shackle will fail. He does have a crush, but his sprint has worn out, and he'll get yanked right back into a swarm of angry complexity heroes. Zai will fall as well. They'll lose 2, and complexity will also take that tower on top side.
We saw this first game as well with the Bloodseeker. The Rupture, as much as powerful as it sounds on paper, it's maybe not as strong in practice against these top tier teams. Because Phantom Lancer just literally stood there and he got the supports, meanwhile middle lane.
Great stun from CCNC onto 2. Z-Freak and Adam. You get put into the Pulse Nova. Moo's coming in, but that's a slow TP because everyone else came in beforehand. Moon is going to find the Witch Doctor, but again, this PvP Witch Doctor is seemingly invulnerable. Looking at CCNC now, gets X marked back into that torrent, but Pycat 33, they're both here. Poison Nova does connect onto the Phantom Lancer. They rupture the real one as well, and now Moo's got to sit there and take it. Pycat to challenge him and should be able to take him down. Just gets away from the boat, but still Moo will fall. And it looks like Moon was able to kill off the Witch Doctor. But you look at that, he did it.
Yeah.
That's his Blink Dagger.
That's a case where the Rupture does come through, obviously, when they've already picked off some of the supports as well. And at that point, Phantom Lancer had no choice but to try to stand still and survive. But the rum drank, still not enough to stay alive. But this is a big item for complexity, naturally. Is the Blink Dagger on Earthshaker finally being purchased by Moo Meander, approaching now 16 minutes in. We'll see if maybe a smoke comes out shortly after this. With him, the Kunkka Shadowblade, I got it. Oh, no, he's actually not going Shadow. Interesting. He's going right into a BKB for Limp's first choice. That's a little curious to me, because just about to say, with the Shadowblade, I mean, there is a Corrosive Haze on the other side. There is Bloodseeker, so I could see maybe the reasons why they want to stay away from an item like that, but it's just naturally so good on Kunkka.
Yeah, at least you see, like, Armlet, Halberd has been getting a lot more traction on Kunkka, just some sort of increased strength / damage item. I mean, I guess BKB does give you that kind of, but yeah, BKB, though an incredible item, is usually something you want to pick up after you're ready to do some damage. They do have this kind of nice timing with the Blink Dagger, though, so maybe between those two items, get the hood on the Phantom Lancer, they can look to start some fights. At the very least, force a fight once the Chaotic Offering from Warlock is up. Still 30 seconds till that, but they're really eager to get fight ready.
90 go per minute talent on a core hero in Venomancer. Pretty strong. Picked up here by 3-3. He's also level 12, up there with the top of the game. You can see level 13, and CCNC, meanwhile, smoked up. They're looking to make a play bottom.
PD already revealed himself. Limp has the haste rune, gonna throw the bolt right after this Venomancer. Gonna connect perfectly. Chain stun looking pretty good. Can he get anything off? No. He'll go down, but they do club up for a two-man split. Earth from CCNC does push right in along with Pycat. Chaotic Offering's gonna drop, give Limp and Moon a little bit of space to escape. Looks like Limp will not get out, but they do get out with the Earthshaker. Moon now coming in, straight in, along with Moon Meander. Actually teleported backwards. The Shrine comes and kills off TPD. As the Crush from Zai not gonna land. Shackle Shot from Siegfried will land. Power shotting through two of them as well. CCNC kind of running dry on mana. Everyone else running dry on health. So compLexity with a really nice response. End up getting a 2-for-1. However, that is still Chaotic Offering down. Kind of an expensive fight there for compLexity, but they did win it.
I think that's the strongest point right there, is that for what was used in that fight, I think I'm overall fairly happy if I'm OpTic. Killing Limp is still a pretty big deal. And they didn't even use Poison Nova, by the way. That's a level 2 Poison Nova right now on Venomancer with that Veil on top of it. You can only imagine how much more devastating that actually could have been in favor, in fact, of OpTic if he's able to get that off. So, but this is also pre-Radiance from Bloodseeker. Go back to that. I know I overhyped it last game and it proved not to necessarily be the biggest deal, but yet again, I feel like it's going to be pretty good here. You are dealing with a Phantom Lancer specifically on the other side, and naturally it is a good item choice to have. But I also like OpTic. They're just not afraid to continue to be active, and they're doing that here.
The Nova was on cooldown last time. That's why, like, it's pretty not that bad for OpTic to take that lost fight, and that is what's letting them do this. As you said, like, they still have all of their big cooldowns. There is no Chaotic Offering on the other end. There is an Echo Slam. They do know where Moon is going to drop it right on top of the Venomancer. He's doing a lot of damage, but he's just going to come up short of the actual kill. Now the haze onto the Earthshaker, and he bit off a little bit more than he can chew. Why get a defensive item, Venomancer, when you can just survive the Echo Slam anyway? They get killed there, and this is push on towards top lane. CCNC is going to arrive, immediately gets shackled to a tree. And it looks like with Zai's arrival as well, they'll chase after Z-Freak, perhaps? Gotta line the shackle shot somehow here. I'm not really sure where the angle's going to come from the Wind Ranger, so she's probably in a little bit of trouble here. Yeah, she's ruptured. I would say she's dead.
Okay, so going back to the bottom lane, so they're also going to find Witch Doctor, and that Voodoo Restoration, we've seen it before come into play. This time it's not going to be enough. Indeed, it goes down, but that had to be some form of miscommunication there, because there's no way Earthshaker's getting a solo kill on Venomancer, yet nobody was TPing in that whole time, and it's almost as if that's what he tried for. Maybe he did call somebody, and it maybe got instantly canceled. I'm not even sure. I guess I didn't notice 100%, but either way, that was a bit sloppy on the side of compLexity. Then even top lane, they didn't fall back in time. At least Wind Ranger eventually gets caught. So compLexity find themselves making a couple of sloppy decisions, and goes back to that miscommunication and maybe the lack of overall experience as a team.
And I mean, trying to go for a kill as Earthshaker is one thing, but using your Echo Slam to go for a kill is quite another. Like, they will at least have another Chaotic Offering, so should OpTic get a little bit of frisky, then compLexity will have some tools to fight back with. But you get this Blink Dagger and Earthshaker, you gotta do something with it. Like, he's had it for what, like 5-ish minutes, and so far pretty much nothing except for a little bit of repositioning in that last Shrine fight. So, and effectively this Earthshaker still is not really in the game despite having all the tools necessary.
CCNC got a very nice time at the Bloodstone as well, by the way. He's even already got a charge on it. I think that was from the Wind Ranger kill at the top lane. Finished it prior to that, so naturally going to follow up with a Yules, but this is another hell of a start for CCNC. But the funny thing about that is he's only third on his team, actually. Bloodseeker slightly ahead with the Radiance just about finished, and then Venomancer continues to lead the way. Again, as I mentioned earlier, that level 10 talent no doubt helps. But that's going to be a BKB now finished for Venomancer, as it's also finished on Limp on the other side. So going back to his decision to go to the BKB, it's one of those cases, like, it's understandable. You're dealing with both a Leshrac and a Venomancer core, but, you know, his ganking prowess is now going to be nerfed quite a bit as a result of him going to BKB. So can compLexity really make this work? They're going to be relying a lot on team fights, I think it's safe to say. Earthshaker, Warlock, Conko with a BKB, that's where they want a group up fight, no doubt.
Absolutely. Like, that's where their heroes are strongest. Just on their own, and that's where heroes like Bloodseeker are kind of at their weakest. So compLexity will have that going for them if they're able to force that, but again, using your ultimates to try to get solo kills, that's not exactly what compLexity want to be doing in the grand scheme of things. At a certain point, that's just going to be completely off limits, but compLexity, they're still just trying to build up this Phantom Lancer. He's not doing terribly, 4th place in net worth, but not too far behind, only 800 gold behind number 1. Does have Diffusal Blade, now looking at a heart, so Mu is going to be pretty darn powerful. The only problem is that, I guess, maybe problem, his teammates need to land their spells. They need to have really good chaotic offerings, echo slams, boats, and whatnot, and they've been so far okay, but a Phantom Lancer by himself cannot compete up against this much power from OpTic, no matter how farmed he is.
No. And honestly, they need a pipe on. I guess their only really candidate is an Earthshaker, so hopefully for their sake, he goes pipe next after his initiation tools of the Shadow Blade with the Blink. But then I do like the heart choice going back to that for PL. It makes a lot of sense when you're dealing with this much magic damage. Just get that natural HP to tank up throughout and be able to survive and obviously either get away or return the favor in the fight. But no doubt we'll be lacking the damage, and that continues to kind of be the theme here with these item choices for compLexity. I mean, Wind Ranger, she's just sitting on the casual javelin. Of course, a Maelstrom would be nice eventually, but she's even trying to get the Blink next. Hasn't been the best farm for Z-Freak here.
Well, Zai is going to find the Wind Ranger. They had an inkling that they were close to one another, and Z-Freak is now going to try to book it with the Wind Run into the jungle. 33 is kind of going to block himself with his Plague Ward, but luckily for him, Zai has his back as the middle. He'll take the kill there, and in the middle lane, Moon is going to get out of the Blood Circle. Shadow Blading away will be just fine. It looks like maybe thinking about reinitiating. That's a little bit too bold. So they'll take down the Wind Ranger and now look towards Roshan. Level 1 Haze. No medallion or anything like that. So perhaps compLexity can actually do something about this. They do have still the Kunkka ult and the Earthshaker ult, but OpTic are just going to leave. They're going to jump in, crunch into the Phantom Lancer. He does have the hood. Chaotic Offering to buy him quite a bit of space, however. He still takes quite a big hit from that Blood Right, but it's Zai who's separated right now, and he will get solo Echo Slam. It's a kill, but they have to make it worthwhile at the end of the day because Moon is being chased down by Pycat and CCNC. He'll be put in a blender as 33 lands his Nova onto 2 in the front. He's driving them all back, but the rest of his team, they're kind of getting wrecked by the Golem, so they can't really help him all that much. Kunkka's going to take a lot of poison damage here. It looks like he should be fine, however.
You never know with a Venomancer, but no, he is going to be fine as he makes his way back to base. But that opens up Roshan now for OpTic Gaming, and they did use some Poison Nova from Venomancer. It's a very late Poison Nova, but yeah, you mentioned the solo Echo Slam from Earthshaker. It felt like one of those cases I might as well use it because I'm probably going to be dying shortly after from Moomiander. But Roshan, they're getting it, and that's an Aegis for Leshrac, or it's going to be
got the kill.
Oh, wow. Power shot. Well, okay, that's something, but it's picked up by Bloodseeker, and I think it's safe to say OpTic gets the better of it still.
It's something here for compLexity. I'm not sure if that's necessarily playing to win, baby, but yeah, it is going to be OpTic Gaming like poking out of that Roche pit to try to force compLexity to use some of their ultimates. Even in that position, like that's not really the best spot to be caught by a Chaotic Offering, by an Echo Slam, really tight quarters where they took that fight, but it may be tight quarters, but it's not nearly as bad as getting hit by those in the Roche pit. So love that play to back off as a team and then kind of go back into Roche as a team. Very coordinated as Moon. Oh, Shadow Blade does not keep you safe. Sentry Ward is there. Cast coming in before the fissure, and that should be a dead Earthshaker just from the Maledict. We'll chase him down because they can. Once again, it's going to be an Earthshaker taking a spill here.
Yeah, I'm thinking more about the Shadow Blade, and I know, talking about it earlier on Kunkka, it's because it's just like a natural build on him, but with him not going for it, it also made that logic of you're dealing with a Corrosive Haze, you're dealing with a Bloodseeker, isn't really the best choice over, say, something like that pipe priority for these team fights that are going on. Speaking of that, more happening bottom lane.
Zai's going to blink out from the boat. The boat is now down. They force the buyout onto the Earthshaker. Shackle is nice onto Pycat, but he's the one with the Aegis. So he can take this damage. He's now walled, I guess, into the base. And it looks like his first life will be forfeit here. The rest of OpTic struggling up against that upheaval. Yeah, it is going to be stopped, however. Someone stops this. 33 is going to jump right on in. Nova onto 2 with the BKB active. They'll try to go for Limp and pops his own BKB. Not much follow-up physical damage there. Phantom Lancer charging forward. Another wall is going to keep them in. Great walls now from Moon. Isolating Zion. That should be Slardar now fallen. Bloodseeker shackled, and he has already used his Aegis. X marks. I don't even know what he's trying to do. He's just going to go down. A double kill for Moo. And for OpTic Gaming, pushing with the Aegis, yeah, reasonable, but they split their focus between the melee and range and ultimately get pretty much nothing.
Yeah, deciding to go back in right there, 3-3 jumping into Poison Nova. This is not a team that's bursting heroes down on the side of OpTic, and it almost felt like that they were playing like that was the case, but that clearly isn't. This is a team that relies on fights lasting over time, happen to be fairly clumped up and chaotic with the Venomancer and the Leshrac, and even a Bloodseeker to an extent with the Radiance. But they played it as if they were able to burst heroes down. That wasn't the case. Good reaction from compLexity. And sure, they made the best of it, but I definitely feel that was a complete oversight by OpTic Gaming. And they threw away the Aegis in a lot of ways, too. Something they didn't need to be doing. And this is a lineup that's going to continue to be great throughout this game. But Phantom Lancer, I do feel worried for OpTic that this PL could get out of hand. Eye of Scotty is now coming in next, and once he has that, he is not going to be dying easy. It goes back to, again, the lack of bursty damage on the side of OpTic.
I'm not really sure how they actually kill him, especially if those fights take place, where they just did. Poison Nova just inherently is a lot weaker when the enemies can just duck right back into their fountain. And but that's someone like a Phantom Lancer who has that hood as well. You got to make sure that if someone is going to jump in, if 33 is going to replicate that play, Zai's got to be going in right next to him, and CCNC's got to be following up shortly after, because if they're able to disengage like at all, you're not getting those kills. Your Nova is therefore wasted, and your Venomancer is therefore very sad. He's almost at the level 3 Poison Nova, and it looks like he's thinking about going for the Aghanim, so Venomancer's still going in towards this direction, but you just got to make sure that you have the proper follow-up. Both sides, really. It's all about that follow-up. We've seen a lot of ultimates used, and then not much after that.
Yeah. And compLexity, clearly, again, with the mentality of they're sticking together as a team. You saw them backing up Moo there, even, on the Phantom Lancer, just in case the jump would happen. But they're not going to go all the way. PL will eventually fall back with the rest of them. And Limp will protect the bottom lane from being pushed in. So Leshrac, his own BKB's coming along. Of course, Bloodseeker also working on that. And, meant to bring that up earlier, that yes, these BKBs, just like it's good for compLexity side to potentially have. For OpTic, it's no doubt very powerful as well. And that feels like it's going to be a bit of a window of timing even for OpTic Gaming. Maybe the BKBs into this another Roshan, so another 5 minutes or so they'll have, where they have a pretty solid advantage working for them. However, after that, continues to move on. They still haven't broken into the base. That's where I'm going to start worrying for OpTic overall. I mean, it's a 6,000 net worth lead, feels pretty good. But Phantom Lancer, I keep going back to the Eye of Scotty. And you also got to look at Kunkka, too. We all know what he can do with the Tidebringer. And a Daedalus is just around the corner for him. And the Dota 2 RNG gods are in his favor. Really anything could happen at this point.
Yeah, the play in theory for OpTic should be get these BKBs, which mostly are up. Pycat's still working on his. But get the BKBs, get the Aegis cheese, and then try to break the base. And if that doesn't work, because of botch initiation or whatever, then they really have to reevaluate how they approach this game, because the Phantom Lancer is at that point just going to be a huge menace. So if OpTic hit that timing, yeah, they're looking at 1 racks, 2 racks probably. If they miss it though, this game is going to be really difficult for them.
BKB just picked up, I believe, by Bloodseeker as well. So yeah, both those cores do have it now. Goes back to that idea, bottom tier 1 being pushed in by compLexity. Z-Freak in the front lines now with Phantom Lancer there. So yeah, compLexity slowly but surely just dwindling away, and that's definitely the way they should be playing. So good for their sake. There we go.
Dodge though on the crush. Still Moo is in a really precarious position, 33 right in his face. Boat's gonna come in, lay run onto pretty much everybody. Power Shot will snipe PBD in the backline. Pycat really slow on the incoming. Tries to go for Phantom Lancer, but he's just wandering around with his blade mail, not really doing much of anything. In the meantime, it's Moo with his illusions doing a lot of damage, but he will get caught and will get dropped by the Blood Right. Everyone's pushing forward now. CC2's BKB still active onto the Kunkka. Will get the kill off of a 1-man split earth. Now he sees Adam off to the side. Should see Adam off to the side. He'll try to TP out. CCNC is going to get the Eul's Scepter. That should be enough to kill off the Warlock. In the meantime, it's going to be Zai chasing down 2. Shaft Shot's going to keep him pinned there. The Fissure with the Ghost Scepter. Ethereal Blade active from that Slardar. Not doing him any favors. Pycat, though, still on the chase. Moon going to get out of the Blood Right. Radiant still taking him down, and it will be able to get the kill. Shackle. A really long shackle, but it is going to get Z-Freak out of there. Ultimately, it's going to be a 3 for 4. CCNC and Pycat, though, the survivors, means that OpTic can still apply this pressure.
We saw right away the BKBs, how crucial they were going to be for Bloodseeker Leshrac, and that no doubt won OpTic game in the fight. In the long run, the early Rupture on Phantom Lancer, he did the whole I have to stand here strategy, and which initially kind of worked out, especially with the illusions, a little chaotic in the fight. But again, it goes back to the mentality. It's one thing to push the basis they did, and the lack of burst damage clearly showing. But those are the fights that OpTic Gaming wants. The longer, drawn-out fights, naturally with your Leshrac, the Venomancer, Poison Nova ticking down. Those are the ones that are going to be winning. And that's exactly what happened there for OpTic. They're going to transition nicely into the Shrine Kill, and this also means more Bloodstone charges for Leshrac. Can't forget, too. 19 charges now on that Bloodstone, starting to get up there, and he's working on a Shiva's next, which naturally a very good item to have against a Phantom Lancer, specifically there. But PL he's switching up, it looks like, and this does make sense, and I think this is almost a reaction to the last fight. BKB for himself feels pretty necessary here.
Yeah, I like this a little bit more here from Moo. I mean, everyone's getting BKB. You don't want to be left behind, but at the same time, you got to protect yourself against that Pulse Nova. The Leshrac absolutely was destroying everyone in that fight, and you know, maybe Conquer's BKB was a little bit early, like yeah, maybe, but that's not going to swing everything. Just timing of BKB. They're going to find the Wind Ranger up towards top lane, absolutely destroy Z-Freak, and yeah, this is going to be a little bit snowbally for OpTic, because not only do they get the kill on the Wind Ranger, but look at that, Roche is up to take immediately after.
Well, they go and do it as the question, I guess, but Venomancer, that axe is coming along nicely. They are going to go into the area, cross the face put up, and here we go. OpTic should be a pretty easy Roshan kill when the last one got sniped by the power shot, but I don't think compLexity can defend this. Chaotic Offering still on cooldown, only for 6 more seconds though, but it's probably going to be too late.
If the Venomancer like didn't exist, if Psy wasn't like patrolling and like keeping vision, then they could definitely crash in really hard with their ultimates, but a little bit too risky going in. Aegis cheese on the Bloodseeker and Leshrac respectively, and now compLexity, they have got to just batten down the hatches and well, try to keep some vision up, but it's gonna be a little bit tough. I think I saw a gem floating around. Someone has a gem.
Let's see.
What happened to that gem?
There
yeah,
is a gem on Slaughter, yeah. Yeah, that's the one he purchased himself, so he has that to go along with the Ghost Scepter, a 4-staff next in line, but as I continue to do a great job, hasn't got much credit this game yet, but 4, 5, and 7, he's got some great initiation and nice finds, and that Corrosive Haze continues to do work throughout the fights as well. It's one of those cases, it's like, yes, there's a lot of magic damage coming out from OpTic Gaming side, but the more enhanced damage you apply for the right-click physical is just going to be beneficial for heroes like a Leshrac even, and a Venomancer, of course, who are still doing plenty of that in between using their abilities. So a great tool to take advantage of. And I still look at this Leshrac with the Shivas, and once he gets that, how dangerous that's going to be. But there's the Ags on 3-3. So the Poison Nova is a lot more effective now, and the cooldown only being 60 seconds on top of that.
They do have the Aegis, they do have the cheese, but again, OpTic, they really would rather not take fights into the compLexity base. That's not how they would like to operate in this game. Like the earlier team fight we saw from them started like where the Dire Tier 1 is, went all the way down to the Radiant Tier 1. A fight that spread out, that's where OpTic shine, but in kind of these bottlenecked quarters, that's where compLexity are at their strongest. So OpTic kind of have to find a pick-off on someone, and keeping compLexity blind is going to be how they enable that. Looking at OpTic's vision, well, they have some vision, and compLexity have pretty much nothing. So they do have the options there, and they're keeping compLexity scared. Maybe complete the Shiva's Guard, get like an extra item or two, and then try to make this play? Or can you really just like shift gears and go for late game as OpTic? I'm not really sure about that.
Yeah, going for late game, it depends on what we're talking about. You know, they would probably want this game to finish in the next 10-15 minutes here, whether it's this Roshan by the time the third Roshan spawns, perhaps. Because later than that, then you're dealing with a level 25 PL, who's, I'm actually curious what he does get, but frankly, that Doppelganger cooldown, whenever I see a Phantom Lancer with that, it's just so annoying to play against, and let alone powerful for his team and his sake there. And they're also going to have a Wind Ranger continuing to skill now. She just finished her MKB with now a Black King bar queued up on top of that. So that's got to be a threat that you got to be worried about if you're OpTic. See, I don't think OpTic's going to be looking to delay this game as long as possible by any means, and they're fine with that, but they're also not in the immediate rush either. They've gotten over that initial gap that we talked about, I mentioned about 5 to 10 minutes ago, and now they have another little window to take advantage of.
Well, they're going to reel themselves on top lane, Shrine taking hits, so compLexity know exactly what's going on here from the OpTic side of things. Will they do anything about this? Tier 2 probably is just straight forfeit. There's no point in defending this. But really the only thing they have going for them right now, Moon is kind of pushing this bottom lane, but it's an Earthshaker. He can't really do that all that effectively. So Tier 2 not even going to be fully attempted. OpTic really just trying to make use of the fact that they have control of the map, and compLexity they don't, although they are currently under vision. Zai's got to get over here with that gem.
I love the Mjolnir choice from Bloodseeker as well, to go the full Mjolnir again against the PL, not only have the Radiance, but now Mjolnir on top of that. Very effective ways to just drop these illusions of Phantom Lancer, making sense there. On top of course, naturally having a Leshrac, who Shiva's is now just around the corner. They're going to push the tier 2 though first, and fall back comfortably with that. So they only have the Aegis for maybe another minute here, I believe. I don't think OpTic is going to break through. I think we're going to go, as I was mentioning earlier, we're going to wait until the third Roshan, if you're OpTic, to try to really finish this game, get that Refresher Shard, and show compLexity out from there.
Looking at Mjolnir also, it has that static charge ability, which in this particular game is absolutely nuts. Like looking at Phantom Lancer, so that having that additional source of clearing and damage is incredible. Looking at Wind Ranger as well, she's going to proc it a lot, so she's got to watch where she focus fires. CCNC is pushing bottom lane really far, and he's completely surrounded. He's going to find Adam, and Adam's like, yo, I got my back up here, but CCNC really doesn't care because he has BKB currently active. Adam's going to drop the Warlock ult, and it will get him some damage on CCNC, but he will still go down. Back coming in now for the Leshrac punch on 2, as Moon is going to take a lot of damage here. Is able to take down Zai first, but if he's now going to jump in, he's going to poison over pretty much everyone, but there's really not much follow until CCNC returns to the fight with Icat, and isolated Phantom Lancer will take him down. And after this, Kanka next. That's a cast with ECG on the high ground. Live, we put in Blunder. That's going to be...
Yeah, sorry. My mic, Loris, unfortunately having a little bit of a mic issue there. So hopefully we can get that figured out and move forward with that. But yes, that was a crazy fight. It all started with jumping the Warlock. I mean, that was a bold decision by CCNC, I'll say that. Again, he had the cheese though, so he always felt comfortable, and his teammates were close enough, able to kill Warlock initially, and then eventually have his teammates get there. And by the time they did, compLexity was not going to be winning that fight. They still tried. They've already had the buyback now on Kanka. They're going to need to buy back on PL if they want to save a second set of racks, it feels like at this point. Kanka throws at the shift. There's that buyback from Phantom Lancer. Peter Pan Dam went a little too far. He'll get caught out and eventually killed off, but not the worst case scenario for OpTic Gaming. Moo is going to chase on Phantom Lancer, but I don't think he's getting close enough. In fact, he needs to be careful not to go too far, because the last thing you want is a dieback here. OpTic going back in. There's a Sonar Crush. Poison Nova used. However, the Echo Slam on 3 different heroes coming out from Moo Meander. Leshrac getting low himself. BKB's going off all over the place. Podcast put in the Rupture. Up on a Wind Ranger, going to get him taken out. CCC with the heals. He'll stay alive. And as big of an Echo Slam it wasn't meant to be for compLexity. Moo's going to end up falling out for a dieback most likely. There we go. He's 10 for 95. Liv comes back in. That's a dieback as well. And OpTic Gaming, triple kill for PyCat. That'll do it. GG, well played. The game going the way of OpTic over compLexity. God, that was a beautiful Echo Slam from Moo Meander. It finally happened. You know, you usually get one of those per game, if anything. But it was just too damn late at that point.
That's that issue we were talking about earlier. Like,